Hello, and we are back for Top 82, the Christmas Handicaps edition. This is Dec's favourite edition. He couldn't wait to get grade ones out of the way. He was like, yeah, next, this one, next.
Yeah.
No.
Things rated 170 and stuff like that.
Yeah, no point.
No.
So there's going to be horses here that are probably going to be half of Galop and Deschamps rating and well within the handicap at the same time that we're going to be covering. So very much looking forward to it. No, we're only messing. Top 81 was a lot of fun, going through all our grade one best bets and talking about a little bit of other things too, beginner chases and all that stuff. So do check that out as well. I'm sure this is where most of the attention is going to be. This is where we hopefully make our money.
Yeah, you better have your notebooks out for this one.
Yeah, we have a flurry of races to get through. So we're going to get straight into it, Dec. Starting at Leopardstown on the 26th of December. The now famous Dawn and Careers Novice Handicap Hurdle, won last year by Adare Charlie. There's no Adare Charlie to upset anyone that's listening. I don't think there's any Adare Charlie in it this year, sadly. But Dec, you might have something for us here in this not 1, 2, 3. So go on ahead.
The way I'm going to do it, I'm just going to give the ones I like in the race.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
And basically hope that something runs. Like going through some of these races, there was 100 entries.
Yeah.
Obviously, not in the higher class ones, the likes of this. So I'm going to rattle off my selections and a quick reason why I think they might win. There's two I like in this one. Johnny Blue, 5-year-old. He didn't get home on handicap debut over 2.5 miles. That was his first run for Willie. You just wouldn't be surprised to see an awful lot of improvement now with you coming from that yard. And Lygon Lad, he ran in maidens against the likes of Romeo Coolio and Wingmen. Only a 4-year-old, rising 5. He was second on his handicap debut, got £1 for that. I'd be more confident about him now of the two in this race.
Very good. So that's the 4-year-old Dec. Which one, sorry?
Lygon Lad. Okay, very good. I was having a quick look. I see Irish Panther making his handicap debut. Could be an interesting one off 118. Getting a bit hairy now is what you would say. 7 rising 8, but obviously not the easiest to train. The few that caught my eye in this race, again, nothing that I'm going to be madly confident about. And ironically, it is a Colin Murphy horse, but he needs a good few to come out. It's De Palma. I don't think he's going to run. The reason I wasn't too keen on him, I think he's 7th in the ballot, so needing 7 to come out is highly unlikely. I just thought his form behind One Big Boom at Wexford, who subsequently won again at Cork, is decent form, and he just didn't look comfortable over the 2 3.5 furlongs at 2 mile 3.5 furlongs. At Punchestown, you would have to forgive that run. He's down to 101. He's definitely able to win off 101, but the problem is I don't think he's going to get in. But do keep him in your trackers. You might see him maybe on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day at Punchestown or Ferryhouse. So just keep an eye on De Palma. Maybe not one for the 26th as he won't get in, but one that I think could win very, very soon over 2 miles. Right, Dec, moving on to the 255, the Racing Post Handicap Chase. This is, speaking of Adare Charlie, similar to a 16-year-old trying to get into a nightclub. Adare Charlie was trying to get into a handicap chase with only 2 career starts, and the handicapper or the bouncer in this stage said, "Not tonight, pal." No. So we don't have Adare Charlie here, unfortunately. We do have 22 entries, however. So who do you like here? Oh, this is a cracker, isn't it? This is good, yeah.
I'm hoping strong handicap now. Hopefully.
There's 4 I like. One I think won't run because it was actually fairly, I say, if you let me.
Right.
Campaigned a little bit oddly, or not as straightforward as most are. He was third in his handicap chase debut off 115, and then he was second back over hurdles. That was off 119. He actually fell yesterday. He's only had 3 handicap runs, including yesterday. Only a 5-year-old. He will be dangerous off that mark, but he's probably not going to run. Spotting the Park, he was third off 121 over hurdles in a race featured Mousy Brown, Billy Lee Swagger, Paddy's Milestone, Dino Land. Like Mousy Brown's followed up, Paddy's Milestone's followed up, and Dino Land, I think, followed up in Britain, Cartmel or something. Still a 5-year-old, fourth in the Craddockstown. Going to be dangerous here. The King of PRs, I said he'd win the next day, and then he'd go to the Dan Moore and maybe win again. And
He's the one I didn't want to say it, but he's the one that I do think he ran a lot better than market expectations last time out as well.
Yeah, he probably just was even like it was an absolute cracker of a run for his first run back after a break. So again, he's going to be thereabouts. And then Canal End needs to jump better now. Canal End, but you know that his jumping could improve with the application of cash. He's a maiden hurdle winner. He was he's been toured off 124 over hurdles, and he's in here off 119 for his handicap chase debut. So I think the winner comes from those three. Yeah. And I hope two of them don't run.
I think Canal End, do you know that novice handicap chase that we tried to get involved? It was a Verdant place that we went heavy on last year at Naas.
At Naas,
and he pulled up, or he ran very badly. I think that's the race they're aiming Canal End at, because his form is over further, and they'd be getting him in here as a sighter, I think, for 2 miles with bigger fish to fry. And that's why he was on my short list, but I think it's the 2.5 mile race at Naas that they'd be going there with. I came down like you, Dec, on the King of PRs. Look, he was a bit like, I suppose there was a little bit of late money for him, but like I don't think there was a heap expected. That was probably your money, yeah. I thought American Mike, you know, he's probably unlucky not to win the race. Like I think it was a bad error at the last, cost him the race. I thought we were going to see him here. Maybe it's his handicap rate, and I think he would have had to carry similar to Affadale Fury there, over 12 stone if he was to run here. But I still thought they were going to try it. Thought it was the obvious race for him. I think that's decent form. I will have to give a shout out. I put up a horse yesterday on Twitter, Battle of Ridgeway, who does have an entry here. The reason I like Battle of Ridgeway at Thurles though was 2.5 miles, completely unexposed, goes well fresh, has won at Thurles before. This is a jumping class, and he's sticking at 2 miles. I would have rather seen him at 2.5 miles. You couldn't rule him out if they do run here. He's off a feather, 10 stone 1 as of right now, assuming Affadale Fury runs. But I'd want to see him over 2.5 miles before backing him again. And this is his only entry, so he probably will run. Okay, but I would rather see him over 2.5 miles. So yeah, it'd be the King of PRs, Dec. I'll tell you in there, assuming you're backing him. And which one is it for you again out of 4?
Look, I like Spotting the Park, the King of PRs, and Canal End. I hope you're right about Canal End. So it leaves me to decide between Spotting the Park and the King of PRs.
Cool. You'll have one run free anyway.
Yeah, I hope.
And they'd be decent prices.
I'm hoping one of them runs. Yeah.
Nice. The return of Mr. Binman. I think he's sponsored a few races at Limerick before. The Mayor's Handicap Hurdle, the 208 on the card. Yeah, Dec, there's no point of even introducing half of these horses, so I'll let you take it away.
Oh, look, there's only one for me here, and it's Blue Mosque. And I've spoken quite highly of her before. She was disappointed at Navan. 24-year-old rising 5. She's a bumper winner. She's a maiden winner. It's her handicap debut. I just think she's better than this, and probably better than her mark.
Better than her mark, says Dec. Yeah, look, they aimed her high enough, didn't they? And she has to carry 11 stone 12. His ground should be. I suppose she's won a soft ground bumper at Naas, hasn't she? So, I suppose that's one thing you would have to look at. The one I would probably go with, now she ran very, very badly last time out at Clonmel, but I would forgive the run because she's been good around Limerick before, and I thought she'd be progressive. It's Millstream Lady. Obviously Eric McNamara, I would imagine a lot of his horses are going to be targeted this week at Limerick. So I would forgive that run at Clonmel and hope that she can go close here for Eric McNamara and his team. Moving on then, Dec, to the next race at Limerick, which would be the 315, the BRC McMahon Reinforcements Handicap Chase, over a little bit further than 2 miles and a furlong. So this is an interesting now racehorse that we talked about a good bit in the past, I suppose, the likes of Splashing Out, who is at the top of the weights for the moment. But who do you like?
I do like Splashing Out. Now, we will need to jump better. A 6-year-old rated £9 higher over hurdles. Lot of weight though, isn't it?
Yeah. Stack of weight.
Yeah, but we might not have a really heavy Limerick this year. So yeah, he'd be on the list. And then Cheerful Chap, rated 104. He's a winner of our hurdles off 110. He was third off this mark recently. He could go 2 better.
Yeah. Again, sticking with Eric McNamara, I think Dream of the Park be interesting now coming back in trip. It would need to improve a lot off his recent hurdle starts. Hasn't been chasing yet for Eric McNamara, but had bits and dribs and drabs of form at decent tracks for Emma Lavelle when trained in England. It might be a sighter to something down the road though, but maybe one to keep a close eye on for, if money does come from in the 3:15 there at Limerick. Moving on then, Dec, to our third Irish meeting, a very rare three-peat of Irish meetings on the one day. It very rarely does happen. But Down Royal joins the party now, Dec, for the 12:48, the Adare Manor Opportunity Handicap Chase. It's an 80 to 102. And then when I was saying there's certain horses that we're going to be covering here that are half of Galop and the Chance rating, I was thinking of races kind of like this. So who do you like here?
There's 3 I like. 2 of them have been put up recently back from the races. She was third at Nace, a mare we got to meet down in Phillips. She got £2 for that. Look, there's definitely races in her. It could have been that race. It's always difficult in those races for claiming amateurs. So I think she'll go close here. And Albatala, I'd probably be siding with Albatala over the 2 because was traveling really, really well at Fairyhouse and ran out. Don't know what happened. I think the bit of equipment broke, the rain broke or something, and I was feeling quite confident now during the race. So, obviously left on the same mark, I'd have the same feelings going into this race. But as a third one, Silent Dawn, looked off once in her career, finished third at Kilbeggan. This is the second handicap, taking a lot of boxes. Be disappointed if the winner doesn't come from those 3. And I'm maybe hoping Albatala goes somewhere else because it has a few more entries.
Yeah, look, we as you said, Dec, we met back from the races when we went down to Phillips when we recorded. I think it was September, October time, wasn't it? And it was a great trip down there, fantastic facilities. But what I would say, and I'm probably putting on my tinfoil hat a little bit here, if Tiernan Power Roach goes here when he has a lot of rides or potential rides at Leopardstown or Limerick, I'd say that would nearly be a tip in itself, because this isn't a Adare Manor Opportunity. So like I'm assuming like if back from the races goes here and Tiernan gets declared or gets jocked up, he's probably going to be the best jockey in the race, given what he's done this year. But it'd be interesting because Philip has a lot of entries over the 20 on the 26th. But if Tiernan is going up to ride this mare in this race, I would almost nearly say that's a tip in itself. But we'll see, because there's a lot. He has a good few obviously entries at Limerick. He has a few. He's obviously a handicap there at Leopardstown as well. He has an entry in. So we'll have a look. But I think that's she'd be very, very interesting now, and I think she's definitely ready to win myself. The Met Collect Handicap Chase, Dec, is another 80 to 102. It's at 158 over 2.5 miles. So yeah, take it away.
One Night Standard. She will be top weight. She's only a 5-year-old. She won over hurdles off 103 at the stall, and she's going to make her handicap chase debut over 2 furlongs further off £1 lower. Bet of the day.
Here we go. One Night Standard, bet of the day, and I'm not even going to even attempt to take you on with that one because I'll probably end up backing her myself. One Night Standard confidently for Dec, top of the weights there. I'm just going to make sure she doesn't have any extra other entries, which she does not. This is her only entry over the festive period. Fantastic. Right, so One Night Standard, 158 Down Royal, go collect. On to the 27th then, Dec, the Spinal Injuries Ireland Handicap Hurdle over 2 miles. So this is going to be a very competitive affair, obviously. Goes without saying. You can make a case for a lot of them, I suppose. Which one are you making the biggest case for?
Sorry, Andy, what race are you on?
This the Spinal Injuries Ireland Handicap Hurdle, the 220 from Leopardstown.
220 on the 27th.
The 27th, yeah.
1 second.
You're all right. Take your time. There's a lot of handicaps. So if I've gone a different way to your notes, just let me know.
No. Oh yeah, this one, Jesus.
I know it's not easy.
No. Look, there's two. I like best years yet. Had a lot of runs in France. Top weight. Irish debut was behind that thing of Willie's kids a boodle, is there?
Oh, Josh, you're asking the wrong man here.
No, it's up hard. Yeah, look, you just don't know if the handicapper has this one, will you? Although 141 might not be taking any chances. And then Ethical Diamond, she wasn't often in juvenile hurdles. Some decent runs on the flat handicap hurdle debut now.
132 is a mental mark, though, isn't it?
I know, but like,
yeah, I suppose I was 5 1/4 lengths to Cargeese. I suppose. What are you supposed to do?
Like, you see, the thing is, you just don't know how good the horse is.
Yeah.
Because it definitely has ability, has ran nice races on the flat. And I mean, you're getting that close to good juveniles when you're not off. You've probably loads of ability.
Probably do, yeah.
And then it's just that thing coming from France, trained by Martin Brazel, owned by Sean Mulryan. Like,
I couldn't find where that thing was. Yeah, I couldn't find where that mark was coming from. The 143. Kit Spool, I think. It was 143, and he's been dropped 2 pounds for the run. But like, yeah, unless they're working back from Martin Brassel's just presented these horses in the county or in the Coral Cup before. Keeps getting short-headed in it, but no, he couldn't win it with an epic song. And then obviously somehow Fast or Slow got beat by Beacon Edge. Oh, not Beacon Edge, sorry, Commander Fleet. So yeah, it's maybe that's what they're working back from with him. But
yeah, possibly. Look, they're just two horses that are like, we haven't seen the best of them in Ireland, or we haven't been allowed to see the best of them in Ireland. And they could just be better than that mark they have, even if it is, it does look high.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely it does look high. I couldn't bring myself to do it.
In these class of races, like, there's more exposed horses than not, so you hide them a different way to the other races when we're talking about horses rated at 86, like, so these horses have a lot more ability. There is a good chance they're better than these marks.
Yeah, I will stick with the 4-year-old form. I'm going to go with the race fit one, though. Pinot Gris, who was so impressive in the fishery lane at Naas. Now, he's been given £11 for that, but couldn't have won much easier. Looked like a different horse in the blinkers. Hopefully the ground stays decent for him, and he gets declared here and goes well. I think he'd have a fairly decent chance. Moving on then, Dec, to probably the biggest handicap that we have over the festive period in Ireland. It's the Paddy Power Chase. Usually goes off within about 5 minutes of the Welsh Grand National. I still don't know who plans this. You can't watch the Welsh Grand National if you want to watch this race. I'll have to check the time of the Welsh Grand National this year, but I'm imagining it hasn't changed.
It'll be around 3 o'clock.
I'll be able to tell you right now. Chepstow, 250, is it? I bet you it's 250. Yeah, 250 Welsh Grand National, 3 o'clock Paddy Power Chase. And assuming that there's a false start or they're 5 minutes late at Chepstow, which usually does happen, and they'll be clashing as usual. Anyway, look, that's not what we're here to talk about. We've got 36 at the moment, 35 left in the Paddy Power Chase as we speak, Dec. There's one sitting out like a sore thumb, and I didn't want to do it, but I think I'm going to have to do it. It's 3-card Bragg on his 4th chase start. I was mad about him for the Albert Bartlett. I went a bit cool on him, but when he went chasing, but when you look through his form, beating 3/4 of a length on his chase debut by Corbett's Cross, who had chase experience, beating 5.5 lengths by Monty Starr, who we both fancied for the Broadway last year and didn't do a whole lot wrong subsequently, and then beating 7.25 lengths by Splan's Tower and Monty Starr in a Grade 1 at Punchestown. He's in here off 148. He has to give the experience over fences away, but it's hard to say he doesn't look well handicapped off 148 right now, no?
I don't know, Andy. You see a lot more on that horse than I do. You always have done. It wasn't on my list anyway.
All right.
Although I did struggle with this race.
Okay.
There's 3 I'd give a chance. Grancy at the tie. he's a horse we picked out early top days when he made his beginner's chase. When he ran
Galway, wasn't
it? Ferryhouse.
Ferryhouse, okay.
Ferryhouse, yeah. The big chap won the race.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, look, a 7-year-old. He won that listed handicap at Punchestown off 131. He's up £10. He'd a hurdle run in October. This has probably been the plan with him, and I definitely think there's another win in him. Whether it's in a race this competitive or not, I don't know, but I'd be happy to give him a chance. Stuzzakini, still only 6, won the Troytown, got £9 for that. He's going to have a chance. There's going to be plenty more improvement in him. And then Will Do, he's had 3 chase starts. He's placed 3 times. He's on the same mark as his hurdle mark. Now, it's not that we ever really seen that, and over hurdles of that mark was tested too much, but he was one that was sticking out to me now on handicap debut. Just on touch on the Troytown, thought Lisbon Mult lad was the run here, and I'd have been very, very keen on him. I hope he's not injured or something, but I believe it was the plan. I think he'd taken a bit of stopping in this now.
Yeah, it's a pity. Hopefully he's all right now. You just never know with horses, though. They can be so hard to train at times.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to stick with 3-card Bragg. I went cold on him, but now, like, subsequently, just looking at his novice form, it just looks so strong. 148 is a bit of an ask, and you know, like his last run behind Franciscan Rock, it was a hurdle race, but it was Sandor Clegane, Plains Indian in that too. He just was basically just a hack around for all intents and purposes, and I'd imagine this is the plan for him. But as you know, this race can be mayhem. And like Willie Mullins has often won it with very progressive horses. Like, you couldn't rule out Nick Rocket at the top of the weights. You couldn't rule out Meeting of the Waters repeating. You know, Braun in here 50-1 needs to show a lot more, though, unfortunately, for Thomas Gibney. And then Glenn Gooley might need this run. I'd imagine they're going to go back to the Thyestes with him. So this is probably a cider for that. McDermott needs to improve, obviously, on his run at Navan last time out, where he's pulled up. And then you have a 6-year-old down there towards the bottom who's always you know, promised more, but hasn't quite delivered. But you could never rule him out in Spanish Harlem. Pulled up behind Manila Crooner at the Punchestown Festival, but ran quite well. Was 6th, although never really getting involved. 6th behind McDermott in the Scottish Grand National. Was behind the likes of San Felician and Tactical Move and decent enough beginners chases as well. He would definitely have room off 138. Just that we haven't seen him this year is the only problem, and he's another one that could maybe be aimed towards the Thyestes at Gowran with a view to maybe just taking this in on the way there. So I'll stick with 3-card Bragg, but very much an open affair for the Paddy Power Chase. Right, Dec, we'll move on then to Limerick, the 27th, the Tim and Martin Maloney Veterans Handicap Chase. And this is where I was saying that Limerick was starting to get a little bit funky with the races. You don't see many veterans chases in Ireland, usually because we don't need them. But here's one here anyway. We've 8 runners. Usually is a small field for this, but who do you like?
No opinion on this race.
No opinion on this race. Fair enough. Big Debates is probably the one up the top there. You know, he's came back down to a decent enough mark. Ran quite well at Cork last time out. Now, he does like Cork, but I'd imagine now that they might have had their sights on this race. He had been hurdling recently. He's back to fences now. I think he'd have a fair enough opportunity to get back to winning race in this race. Onto the 236, the Grant Thornton Ladies Handicap Hurdle. Again, not easy here, Dec, and we're starting to see duplicate entries. Like Charlie's came up now about 100 times, as is Metamorpheus. Johnny Blue, don't know how many times I've seen his name on my screen so far. But who do you like here?
Yeah, look, Johnny Blue, I've covered already. And the other one I like is Tyson, right, 99. Okay. The only time he was prominent in a race, he finished second in the maiden. Other than that, he's been further back in the field, including on his handicap debut. Comes in here for a second handicap run. Between the two of them for me.
Yeah, well, Paul Nolan's no stranger to having gambles landed at Limerick at Christmas time. It's happened many a time. And Tyson does have a profile that you could see him going well. You could see a bit of money for him, put it that way.
Be interesting to see who Paul Nolan gets to ride him if he does rock up here. I have no opinion on the race, but a good spot there, Dec. I think he is one that you do need to keep a close eye on. The 311 is the Roaches Feeds handicap hurdle over 2 miles. Anything you like here?
Oh Jesus, a bit of a list here. Yeah,
Go on.
Collaborative 4-year-old 3-length Ford and handicap debut. It was a bit of an eye catcher. Zoom time may want better ground than we get at Limerick, but it was way below form and handicap debut. I'd be waiting to check the market now with this one as well to see if there's any money. Albatala, as we've mentioned her already, and I just think she will win wherever she goes. Let him be. Never been off. Coming back and tripped out. Little bit of a worry. The Green 13 will need to jump better, but this is the second handicap run. And then Dylan's Chance was 5th on handicap debut. Like again, running the second handicap. There's a lot of these that could improve now for
the application.
Yeah, exactly. There's probably more. This race is. If they were all turning up, I'd nearly leave this race alone, to be honest.
Yeah,
there's a good few of them in there. I thought that race was tough enough now to.
Yeah,
there's not 100 entries in there as well, I think.
Yeah, there's a long ballot, and a few that I like. Obviously, Restless Sun is probably one that we need to get. Norman Lee, I think that's one.
Restless Sun is there as well.
Yeah, and it was actually disqualified last time. Because the rider didn't weigh in, but was its best run of its life so far. And that was the one I wanted to keep a close eye on. And that was a handicap of 81. Was raised to 82 subsequently, despite the rider not weighing in. He has 2 entries, one over 2 miles here and one over the 2 miles 5. He's not going to get in here, so you can forget about that. He's 15 on the ballot. The other one I liked was She's Online for Owen McCarthy, number 9 on the ballot. Good run on her penultimate start here at Limerick, only beaten in a photo. You forgive her the run at Musselburgh and she would go close. I can't see 9 horse. I think she's number 9 on the ballot. I'll just double check that now.
What is the? It's a 102.
Yeah, she's number 9 on the ballot, so probably not going to get in, unfortunately. But yeah, it's a not to 80 to 102, so it's quite, it's proper low grade. Kilbarry CC, obviously one that I have in the top tracker as well, but I'm not backing a 4-year-old off 12 stone in a race like this, so I'll wait for another opportunity for her. Right, Dec, the 341 is the Whitebox Property Group handicap hurdle. It's an 80 to 109, so we're dealing with a very slightly better caliber of horse here. Anything that you like here for, again, a bit of a ballot here too. Got 26 runners as we record.
Tyson and Albatala are in here. They've been covered already. Warden's Whispers in here. Got £3 for the second, last 8 to the 3-year-old. Rocky's Boyers. There's a Rocky's boy. But well cleared at the third. I would really like him, but that £3 could be, when you get £3 not winning, it just makes life more difficult. Bid up for Ross O'Sullivan. He made his handicap debut at Cork. He's only a 3-year-old. No, that was in the race against the 3-year-old. The same race as Warden's Whisper. Ran well for a long way, left on the same mark. A New York Style. She made a handicap. Yeah, she's one you picked out a long time ago, Andy.
It's gone south though.
It has, yeah. She made a handicap debut in June. She was I think it was the maiden was at Nace or Navan, was it?
Behind, yeah, it's Nace behind Only by Night, actually.
Yeah. Look, I Tyson and Albatala, I really like. If one of them turns up, I'd be favouring them over any of the others I've mentioned.
Interesting. I'd be interested to see how the top weight Mr. Lova goes. McLaren, obviously,
he has to be too exposed now. Like
you would have thought, but like you just
he's placed in
placed regularly. And he's an 8-year-old, but I think is one that could, switch the handicaps now. Maybe one that could, well, it was a handicap last time out, I suppose, when he was pulled up, but maybe one that could, try and make all the running or something like that. I think that, maybe prominent tactics. I think the horse is more comfortable when ridden near the front. So be interesting to see how that one gets on. Do I want to back it? Probably not.
But McKiernan does tend to aim his horses at Limerick, similar to Paul Nolan and Eric McNamara at this time of year. Right, Dec, we'll move on to the 28th. We're getting there. An 80 to 116, the Mercedes-Benz South Dublin handicap hurdle is the next one we're going to look at. I'd say we're going to get a few duplicate entries here in terms of the 2 mile handicap that we covered earlier. Maybe with some novices entered, but we'll see. Who do you like here anyway in the 1250?
Logan Ladd covered already one of the first races. I'll probably back him wherever he goes. Down around, he did win last time out, and I don't often go for horse have won last time out, but it was just like the penny dropped for him. He got £7, but I think he might win again. And then Stay Gold, he made his handicap debut at Punchestown last month, and he does shape like a horse who was
an eye catcher, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he
was. It's like a good thing.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see where he goes over the festive period. Well, this is his only entry, but there is options for him. I think if memory serves, there's options for him on New Year's Day or New Year's Eve. What was the race Billy Lee Swagger won last year? That could be an option.
It was on New Year's Eve, Punchestown.
Yeah, there's options for these horses. Even if you see one option, there's definitely options for them on New Year's Eve. So you just need to keep that in mind. Stay Gold, though, it does stick out like a gold thumb, I suppose, in this race. One I would give another shout to, though, is His Nibs. Obviously, I was going to bring up a South. Well, the race is Mercedes-Benz South Dublin. You can't not bring up a Chris Jones horse. But anyway, I thought there was a lot of money for this horse last time out at Cork in a maiden hurdle. Was well beaten by Relieved of Duties, but a decent form in some good bumpers. And we said last year, maybe not as much anymore, but Gavin Crammell does tend to only run as good horses in bumpers. I get the vibe this horse might have disappointed him a little bit since he only went off 11-4 to beat Sporting Glory on his hurdling debut, which obviously he only got within 32 lengths of doing. But behind the likes of Ballygunner, Castle Jasmine Deview, and it wasn't like I would nearly argue that his worst run so far was behind Relieved of Duties, but money came. I would just be surprised if this horse didn't have more to offer off 109. So I will take His Nibs and Stay Gold in this race. I'll back them both. They both turn up. I think they will both turn up. But I think that's they're two very, very interesting runners. Moving on then, Dec, to the Pertemps qualifier. And this race hurt my head, to be honest with you. Like we have a few horses here, like Franciscan Rock, who's already won one. Carl de Torel, who's already qualified. And a few others. Like we have a few horses here that are obviously qualified already. And we talked about in Tap 81, we talked about Rocky's Diamond, who does have a Pertemps qualifier entry. He's also in the Savills Hurdle. If you didn't listen to our Grade 1 preview on Tap 81, he is in the 3 mile Grade 1. My hunch was if Declan Queally thinks that this horse is good enough to be at least given a Christmas hurdle Savills Christmas hurdle entry, then surely they think he has room to improve off 130, no?
Yeah,
no, maybe.
But yeah, well, I'm just wondering about the entry. Was a mistake? No, look, I see where you're coming from. Yeah, but the division's so weak, you might just pick up prize money. But yeah, you have.
You could, yeah.
140. Yeah. Look, it's a tricky race, like Franciscan Rock. The thing about Franciscan Rock is now that he finally gets 3 miles, he got it twice in a row now.
In the form of his life as well.
Yeah, he could just.
Should they have ran him in the Savills Hurdle?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Yeah. He got £6 for that the last day, not the last day, it was the time before, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He got £6, then he got £4 actually for the next day. He's got £10 overall. Carl de Touré, 4-year-old. He did get £4 for the second now.
He could be. I think he could be a top. He could be a top one now. I think he is only scratching the surface right now.
Yeah.
I think probably the best horse Philip Fenton has. I'd say.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. But it's where do you want to be finishing in this? Like,
what? Yeah, like if you were winning this, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, you'd want to be. You'd be running in the Slayers Hurdle, wouldn't you?
Could have gone to the Grade 1.
Yeah.
Gray Cool, she's going to run her race and she absolutely loves it. And she's still quite young. I think she's still only 6.
Six,
she
yeah.
7,
Very, very admirable mare.
Improvement there. And then Feet of a Dancer, 5-year-old mare. She won a handicap last year off 113. She's at 130 now, but I think she's really, really nice, and I think there's races in her, and I can see her running a big one. She's probably the only one that I think she's the best chance of maybe being allowed to win.
Right.
Do you get me?
I get you.
You know, Franciscan Rock and Carl Adare, do they want to be winning? They don't need to be winning. If they've eyes on other prizes, or then you just go and you scoop this pot. 30
well, what's
grand.
the pot? It's 17-7 to the winner. Like, would you not just hold it? Even if you're going to do that, like, is the Dublin Racing Festival or not like a 100 or 150?
Yeah, there's 3 more other days there.
Yeah, like literally.
So you don't, like, you wouldn't be winning with them if they were yours, would you?
I wouldn't have even entered them.
No.
If anything, if I needed to get a run into them, I would have
buried them in the grade 1.
You buried them in the grade, out the back with the ambulance in the Christmas hurdle, or even Jesus.
The only thing is, though, you could try bury one in that and win it.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. Well, then you have a stayers hurdle horse. So, like, you know, so yeah, I think Carol de Terrell, though, as a horse rated 137 and only 4 years of age, and we both of us liked them a lot last year.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted them to go chasing this year. I can see why they didn't. They have a very nice horse, clearly, based on what he did last time out. He's probably now handicapped to reverse the form of Franciscan Rock. That's probably fair to say. Given that Franciscan Rock has gotten an additional £4 for winning a race where, you know, where other horses had kind of chasing targets maybe in mind. I think this horse could win the Pertemps final. Like, if he goes and wins this, I'd nearly think that they've the stayers hurdle in mind for him. I really would. Like, I think he could be that good. Given that he's only 4 and he's came from a crop that all they're doing is just impressing.
Oh, unbelievable.
Yeah.
How is there, like, so many of them? Good.
It's insane. Yeah, it's just a vintage. Just once in a, I don't want to say once in a lifetime, but, like, I wouldn't say it's a million miles off the way they're performing. Like, it's unbelievable.
It's all of them.
Yeah. And look, if Sergino goes and beats Ballyburn on the 27th, which, you know, assuming that happens, like, you know, you want to be really, we'd be putting this one down for the ages of a crop, for the crop of 4-year-olds. A few I just want to flag up, Dec, before we move off this race, if that's okay. Obviously Salvador Ziggy now with Barry Connell. Look, if I was Barry, I'd get him the Hunter cert, because he's not winning any races, I think, off his current marks. I think Hunter chasing would really suit him. I want to just give a quick mention to Park of Kings, who I think is one that could go very close here as well. He's number 1 on the ballot, so I'm sure one horse is going to come out for him. Really good run at the Dublin Racing Festival. He was 5th behind Maxim over this course and distance last year. 3rd behind Adare Charlie at Christmas time last year as well. He's flown up the handicap. Those marks were off 111 and 114. He's off 123 after winning at Gowan at the start of the season. But I think he's completely unexposed at 3 miles. He does have an entry in the 2.5 mile handicap, which we'll get to in a little bit. He was beaten last time out by the Busy Phil, but I think his future does lie over 3 miles, and I think they will want to get him qualified for the final in March. And I think a mark like 123 or in the high 120s will get you into the final in March, because novices now need 5 runs, and the way the ground is going, I don't think many good novices are going to be running in the Pertemps final at Cheltenham. So Park of Kings, and the other one I wanted to mention really quick, if I can find them. Obviously wasn't that important if I can't even remember who it was. No, actually not. It's a different race, right? So not to worry. So I think Carl de Terrell and Park of Kings for me, Dec. And who's it for you?
Look, I mentioned Carl de Terrell, a Feet of a Dancer.
Feet of a Dancer, awesome. Right, moving on to Limerick, 215, the Campion Insurance Tim Duggan Memorial Handicap Chase. So probably the biggest handicap down in Munster for the festive period is the Tim Duggan. A horse, we really fancied running this race last year, Dec, if I recall, the mare, and she fell. Queen Jane, yeah. I've never seen a worse display of jumping in my life. It still haunts me to this day. But anyway, this is a decent old handicap, a much bigger entry list than last year. We've got 27 in here. So you might usually if you entered here, you'd get a run. We do have Queen Jane in here, funny enough. But I don't think I'll be backing her this time around. We've Braun and the big chap leading the way, but the big chap is going to probably want better ground, despite great season that he is having. Anything you like for the Tim Duggan down, Dec?
The only one I could really make a case for was Jordan's. But, you know, he does have the entry in the grade 1, as we covered on the last show, and he might go there and hack around out the back. But I do think he's quite a nice horse. He's better than his mark. But as you were saying, that might be saved for a bigger day in the spring.
Possibly, quite possibly. Yeah, I think the one look. I thought Lama Mason or Malmason was very impressive. The mare for Gavin Cromwell. She basically won that race at Ferryhouse last time out in her season reappearance on the bridle. Won very, very easily indeed. You know, I don't know if she'll be able to do that again. Her form did tail off a bit after she won at Cheltenham last season. But she did get a operation for kissing spines, apparently, which is what brought about the improvement last time out. But I think she's one that you need to keep a close eye on for the Tim Duggan. So I'd be with the mare for Gavin Cromwell. Dec, next race, the 250, the camping another Tim Duggan Memorial. I've had it. That's my first mistake. Yeah. I'm actually not too bothered about that one. Well, let me away with it. It's the Infinity Lifts handicap hurdle. Let me change it while you're speaking about it. It's over 3 miles.
I did struggle with this one. There was nothing jumping out at me. I'd probably be prepared to give Jericho the Bond another go, back up to 3 miles, 5 rising 6. More likely to get his ground conditions at Limerick than he has got recently. And he's a horse getting stronger all the time. Gets 3 miles well for a young horse. And I can't wait to see him go over the fence either.
Yeah, I thought they might have done it by now, but obviously not.
I see that there's more in him over hurdles.
Yeah, that must be the thing. That must be the reason. All right. What about Billy Lee Swagger? Do you think this would be his first start at 3 miles if they took up the entry? I believe. Oh no, sorry, he ran at 3 miles last time out. Do you think the handicapper might have him now, or is or do you think he'll run over 2.5 the day before?
Don't know. I do think there's a day in Billy Lee Swagger, but you'd probably have to ask Philip when it is.
We should have got him on. Right, the D-Pack packaging handicap hurdle is next, Dec, the 325. So we're nearly on the home straight now. I think we're starting to maybe nearly kick for home here.
Yeah, it's the last of day 3, and then we're on to day 4 and the bit of the festive period.
Yeah, there's a few I really like on day 4 as well.
Comes in the last race, by the way.
At Limerick.
Everyone out of jail.
Get everyone out after we've cost everybody their Christmas and their loved ones and all sorts.
We'll get it back at the last race.
We'll get it back at the 11th hour, can't we? Right. Anything for the D-Pack packaging handicap hurdle then? 325 on the 28th.
Yeah, Crest Hill, a point-to-point winner. That was a point-to-point for horses age 6 and over. Yeah, we know. I was out the back on handicap debut, likely to see some improvement. Job well done, 4-year-old filly, never bettered midfield and handicap debut. Did show some ability in maidens. Another one who's going to improve on our second handicap run. And then
we had a listener horse in here, Dec, if you recall. I'll mention it in a minute, but it just deserves a mention.
I've lost where I am here at the moment.
Go on, that's it. Notes everywhere.
You what?
Notes everywhere.
Wyoming baby Robert. See, the thing about Robert Tyner horses is there's no patron to Robert Tyner horses. They win when he decides. So I don't know about Wyoming baby, but the other two, job well done. Probably my strongest. I'd have the strongest opinion on her of those.
All right. The horse I wanted to bring up, and again, it's not me, it was a listener when we did our Horses to Follow podcast, was Leah's Contessa.
Yeah. It's a handicap debut though, isn't it?
Yeah, this could be a eye-catching 5th behind Blue Mosque at Cork, and has been buried behind Castaspell and Baby Kate on her last 2 runs now. The run behind Baby Kate was only 2 weeks ago. And yeah, there was no interest in getting close to that. Now it'd only be 12 days. Maybe this is only an entry to see her handicap mark.
It is a handicap. See, she wouldn't be on my radar on a handicap debut. Like, there's very few. Like Blue Mosque she's making her handicap debut, but I think she's way better than Mark, and I think she's a class horse who will perform on a handicap debut, but they just don't always. They just need the run sometimes, going at a different pace, and you know they need that experience of jumping at a quicker pace before you put the money down.
Yeah, and this could be a sighter, as Dec said there. Look, they've given her a mark of 102, so she's allowed into this grade. So I say Connectons be happy with that. Will they run her? That's another question. I'm not convinced they will. Right, so on to the 29th then, Dec. As you said there, on the home straight, the SIS supporting Irish Racing EBF Novice Handicap Hurdle. This is over 2.5 miles. Strong enough old race this as well. Usually is. There's one I really fancy in here. There's a horse I've talked about quite a bit as well. But before I do, I will let you shoot ahead.
155, is it?
It's 140, or sorry, the 12:45 from Leopardstown on the 29th, Dec.
Oh, I missed it.
You missed it? Don't worry, I got you. Right, it's fine. So we got
Blue Mosque is in here.
Yeah, Blue Mosque in here as well. So
must go now down the bottom. Jesus, how did I miss this?
Yeah, this is. I thought you would have been all over this one. But I think Blue Mosque, good chance she does go to Limerick. I think
it's an easier race at Limerick. I think she'd just go and win that.
Yeah, no, it's 100%.
Must go now poses a few bob.
And then some. I think this will be a very, very hard race. I think Eddie Cawley would find easier opportunities for Musco now to win. I think 9 stone 11 would be out of weights, would he? I think he would. He'd be a few pounds wrong, so I don't think he's going to go for this. But the horse I really fancy, and it's I shouldn't be saying this because you'll be angry at me, Dec. But this is a horse I think could rock up at the Martin Pipe in March. And if you do recall, this race was
Griffin horse.
Yeah, it's Old Man Dingle. Yeah. I really like this horse. He didn't look like he was doing anything too impressive. You know, in 4 hurdle starts, he looked very, very ordinary. But the horse just seemed to have kind of came to his own after a run at Bellewstown behind Millforce, rated 108. Has gone on and won 2 races since. He's won a maiden hurdle at Clonmel, and then the race that I thought he was really impressive in was at Wexford when basically he put away Tunnaneve well. He was a horse that I really like. He just keeps bumping into one. As I said, he probably could have won at Navan 2 starts back, then just bumped into a Barry Connell horse last time out. There's going to be races to be won with Tunnaneve well. No entry over Christmas. Thought we might see him in the big 2.5 mile handicap, but this horse I'm convinced is very good. Now very good in terms of going up through the handicaps. Not saying he's going to go and win grade 1s. I say he'll make a lovely chaser, but he's not done over hurdles, and I'm fairly confident that this horse will go and win this race and continue his progression through the ranks. Church Road Prince, another one that you maybe give a little mention to, was a little bit disappointing at Cork last time out, but was drifted as if it had no chance. Like it opened up 3-1 or something the night before. I went off 11s. Good win over Talk in the Park before that. Maybe another day in mind for him. But I do think Old Man Dingle is the one you need to be with. I really fancy him, and I'd be kind of disappointed if he got beat, to be honest there. Did you have a second to look through it, Dec, or are you okay?
No, I didn't bother. I was just listening to you there.
No worries. Moving on to the 29th, again, the Adare Manor Opportunity Handicap Chase. So this was used to be, I used to always love finding a horse for this race. It was used to be the opening race on the 29th. They've over 2 mile 5. It is now the 4th race, I believe, on the card, and it's over 3 miles. And it's open to horses rated 130 and below now, so it's even kind of improved in terms of class. It's been rewarded with 31 entries, so maybe there's a reason behind it. It's almost like a consolation race to the Paddy Power in a way now. That's almost what it kind of looks like. Dec, anything here that you like?
Well, obviously, Joseph makes his handicap chase debut.
Right, okay. Well, yeah.
Needless
to say much else.
Yeah, so he's of lots of interest, but I like me on the range as well. He was toward the fossil mode and touched me not over 2 miles. A decent run at Cheltenham the last day at big odds, 6-year-old. He could be well handicapped. Will do. I've covered already. And outside the door, been running well. Has won over hurdles and fences recently. But like, look, if Jouster turns up, there's only entry.
There's not a lot to dislike, is there?
No, we just don't know how good he is. Like, some job. What a job Gavin done to get him.
Unbelievable.
What was he rated? What did he win off?
Well, he was about to, it was what he was about to win off, Dec, but he was about to win off 92. In fairness, it was 94. He only got £2. He probably would have got 12.
Got £2 for falling far out.
Yeah. Now he isn't going to have the assistance of Keith Donoghue, but Conor Stonewalsh did win on him last time out, so I'd imagine that's who'll take the ride. Because at the moment he's carrying 10 stone 10. I don't see him. I don't see the weights rising. 9-10 pounds for Keith to be able to ride him. So, yeah, I'd look. It's assuming that it doesn't come too quick. It will only be 15 days. That's the only thing you could be worried about because he probably will win, won't he?
Yeah, you're not confident, yeah.
I think as I said, I've already told you, he reminds me an awful lot of Keandana, in the way he's been campaigned and the way he's kind of gone through the grades and how consistent he's been, and winning
win over hurdles.
And then win a Tremor, and he's actually almost like a carbon copy. He's like Keandana except a year behind in his development.
I do think he saves a bit for himself as well.
Yeah.
I think he's won easier than it's looked.
Yeah,
is what you want in a handicapper.
Look, this is going to be his biggest test to date. Obviously, Sam McGee is coming here off the back of a win. He's up against, as you said, better horses like Haskor Claremont in there for Gavin Cromwell as well. Sequestered wouldn't be without a chance. As you already mentioned, Will Do, who's probably in here as a consolation for the Paddy Power. If you fancy him for the Paddy Power, I don't see how you couldn't fancy him possibly for this if he was to rock up here, which is completely fair enough. And even Midnight or Fred, who won last time out. Like it is a strong race, but I will be. I'll stick with Jouster. I think he will take the world of beating.
Yeah. Okay.
The 305 then, Dec, the Neville Hotel's Premier Handicap Hurdle. So this is the new race. This is the one that replaced the 2 mile Novice Chase Grade 1. But anyway,
this is competitive now.
This is extremely competitive. Heading the weights is Maxim. Hopefully he doesn't run. Hopefully he runs in the Grade 1 instead. Toons Vader, the Royal Bond winner, in here as well. But probably the best place to start, Dec, would be with Philip Rothwell. Philip Rothwell's horse, the Busy Fool, who was a winner last time out. He won the Brown Lad, didn't he? So who do you fancy here? Do you think he could follow up?
Yeah, look, he's a horse on the up. He won off 121 after that was his first run of the season. That's the first run that's been off for a long time, isn't it?
Yeah, it was the first run of the year, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a few quid for him as well, I think. And he's a nice horse. He is a nice horse, and he's on an upward curve. But you have a lot of 4-year-olds in here. Carla Conti, like, she was a good winner off 130. She was then second to a really nice looking horse of Willie Mullins, that having his first run in Ireland, like off 138 is a lot to like. Mr. Percy, he ran a really, really nice race at Navan. He won well at Limerick after he learned how to jump, and like, yeah, I think he could take a bit of stopping here as well. And Bottler Secret is in here. Like, he needs to remember how to jump, and he probably needs a bit of digging the ground, but I still think he's a really, really nice horse. This is very competitive, and I probably wouldn't make my mind up until today. But I do like those four: Caliconti, the Busy Phil, Mr. Percy, and Bottler Secret. But you could add to the list. Like, this is really competitive.
Very easily. Interesting, the 11-4 favourite at the moment is Meeting of the Waters. Who needs two horses?
You've odds for this?
Yeah, we've odds here, yeah. We do. If the favourite is Meeting of the Waters, he needs 2 horses to come out. And he's in here off 112. So, so that could be an absolute mockery. He's a 149 rated chaser, but is able to run here off 112. I could see that going off 6-4, 5. I could see that especially if Willie Mullins has a strong week, that could go off a stupid race.
Yeah.
He did. What was the name of the horse deck that Willie Mullins did similar? He won the Ladbrokes Trophy for the Hennessy Total Recall, didn't he? He went off.
He won the one at the Dublin Racing Festival. He was about
even money nearly
£25 lower of a hurdles.
Yeah. Okay, so they're trying to do a Total Recall and Meeting of the Waters, I suppose. And if he goes and wins this and they clobber him, they'll probably just keep him over hurdles and probably run him in the Coral Cup or something. Could very easily see something like that happening. Parker Kings I've already mentioned. I'm hoping he goes to the Pertemps qualifier. I would fancy him more over 3 miles than I would in this. The Busy Fool, as I said, I did like the horse he beat as well. As I said, Parker Kings. I think that's relatively strong form as well for the grade. He does take a big step up, but I think he'd be able to handle it. And you've already mentioned Calaconte, Bottler Secret, Mr. Percy. Obviously, the 4-year-olds, they are weighted accordingly. But you could definitely make the argument that Calaconte has a little bit more, given that she might have bumped into a right one last time out. For me, Bottler Secret, as you said, I do think he needs digging the ground, and I think something like the Red Mills Trial at Gowran would be a nice place to get him back on track, assuming that the ground is desperate, and then they can see where you go from there. Right then, Dec, the 12:32, so we're nearly on to your bet of the week. We've 4 races to go. We're nearly there. The Limerick Racecourse Vets Novice Handicap Chase. It's a 0-109, 2 mile 6. Who do you like?
Dream in the Park, Eric McNamara. Chase in France, she was second here off 108 over hurdles, and she here off 106. She's going to have a chance. And then your board can sing. Who also has an entry in the graded or the listed Mare's Chase, but she was dropped back in trip over fences and just to sharpen up her jumping, I think. And I did say I'll back her when she goes back up and trip in a handicap. So, but I'm not sure. She's certain to run here. She could go for the listed race.
Right, yeah, off 96 be an interesting one. We have the owner actually. He follows on an X as well, so yeah, it's good. The Colonel. Yeah, is it And Your Bird Can Sing, or is it Andy Our Bird Can Sing? That sounds awful, doesn't it? You can't call it that.
I'd imagine it's And Your Bird.
Body messing. I know exactly. It's definitely And Your Bird Can Sing. But so that's one there for Dec. I've no opinion on that one, so I'm happy to move straight on. The 107 then is the Quinbet Handicap Hurdle. Haven't seen Quinbet sponsor a race in a while. Anyway, this is for 3 and 4 year olds. Calaconte in here again, but I'd imagine she goes to the Leopardstown race. I'd be surprised if she didn't. Eagles Reign for Ross O'Sullivan. This could be an option for him off top weight for sure. Balco Dange for Philip Fenton. He's 2 seconds, keeps hitting the crossbar. And then we've got the 3-year-olds, right, a couple of them down the bottom there. Robbie's Rock, Lakota Blue, James Harbour, and Out for a Stroll. Any here you like, Dec?
Yeah, I do like Eagles Reign, and he's potentially a Coral Cup horse. And he does want cutting the ground, and if he gets it, I think he'd be tough to beat. And, the other one I like is Robbie's Rock, the 3-year-old that bolted up the last day, beating Warden's Whisper. Is this a new thing, 3-year-olds and handicaps?
It was so you might remember there was like a grade 2, or maybe I think it was a grade 2 for 4-year-olds at Limerick over Christmas time, and I think
it was Espard LM won it.
He did, and Galloping the Champ was pulled up in it. But so that race has been scrapped and it's been replaced with this. It's a handicap, as I said. Limerick are getting funky with some of their handicaps. This is a handicap restricted to 3 and 4-year-olds, where the 3-year-olds obviously get weight for age. So
he won. He was very, very impressive.
Yeah,
the last day he jumped really, really well. Don't know how good he could be. Eagle Drain is a nice horse, probably a Coral Cup horse, and will probably need to win it if he wants to be a Coral Cup horse. But I'd have it between those two if Calaconte goes to Leopardstown.
Well, look, they would want Calaconte to go to Leopardstown, I'd say, because their weights would then rise 8 pounds. As of right now, Robbie's Rock is carrying 9 stone 5. Like, I know it's nice to have a 3 and 4 year old handicap hurdle, but all the 3-year-olds are out with the bloody weights as we record. So, it's a good idea in theory. It just might be better I can't even say later in the season because then they won't be 3-year-olds, they'll be 4-year-olds. It's a good idea in theory, but I'm not sure how it's going to work. But anyway, Balcodange is the one I'll stick with for Philip Fenton. I think he might have bumped into a nice enough horse in Joseph's last time out. 114 is a workable mark. As of right now, carries 10 stone 2. Probably will carry 10 stone 10 when Calaconte goes to Leopardstown. But that's a fine weight for me. I think he has a fair chance. Right, next up, Dec to 142, the Prestige Tarmac Adam. Is it Tarmac Adam? Right, novice hurdle. Anything you like here for the 142?
This isn't.
Have I actually? This isn't even a handicap. There's the second mistake. Nice and handy. Right, that means we only have one race left.
That's it.
I don't know why we were getting us to nearly getting you to throw in a sneaky novice hurdle in there, and probably the worst novice hurdle of the whole week. But anyway, the 327, the Reigns Safety and Security Handicap Hurdle. So the nap of the week. So the wife has nearly left us. The Christmas presents are sold for more money. Nobody's talking to us anymore. We've backed a load of losers. But we come down to the 327 at Limerick. That saves us, and everything is well again. Who's the horse, Dec?
Well, look, obviously we want Tyson to have ran earlier on in the week.
Yeah.
And there's a couple more I've mentioned. Dylan's chance and job well done. But I told you this horse would need to run at Cork and she'd win next time. And she ran a lovely race at Cork. It was in the race that Warden's Whisper was second and Rocky's Boy won quite impressively. It's Heidi's Frontier. And she done everything you wanted her to do at Cork. It's her only entry. Just anything you win over these 4 days, just put it all on her. All of it. Every penny. Whatever the kids have gotten cars for Christmas, take it out. And you're taking a lot of it. It all goes on to this one. No, it's her only entry. And she done everything I wanted her to do at Cork. And I was confident she would just need that run and she'd win the next day. And it looks like 327 Limerick, the 29th of December is the next day.
Right, and that what number is she here on the ballot? I'm trying to find her now. It's going a long way down.
She's number 61, right? But is the ballot out for this yet?
Yeah,
the weights aren't out for this yet.
No, she's carrying 10 stone 11 right now.
Or are they? Actually, they might be.
Yeah, no, they literally have just came out as we're recording, you see, so that's why I've got it. Unless this race splits in two, we could be waiting a little bit longer, I think. I don't want to upset fans.
Let me have a look while we're on here.
Look, while we're on here,
she'll just go to Punchestown or something. She'll go somewhere. Just while we're on, I'm gonna have a look.
I keep it rolling.
So we're going to the 29th Limerick. Right.
I thought I had the wrong race for a sec.
Hang on. 327. Jesus Christ. Can you?
I could give it to you. At number 46 on the ballot at the minute.
All right. Forget about that. Sorry.
I'm just waiting for everyone to come back.
Yeah, but hang on.
Yeah, it's one for the.
There's 50 horses ahead of her that are running earlier on in the week.
That's a fair point.
There is a chance she gets in, and if she gets in, look, it's around 46.
46. I don't think I've ever seen a ballot go down that far ever.
Jesus, and she'd win it.
But could they how many races do they have here? They've 7. Could they could so easily split this in 2.
It'll split.
I don't know what the rules are over Christmas time, but if there's a Division 1 or Division 2, she wins a division. Is the way I should probably put this. I think that's the way to say where I was there. No, I'm only messing. That's it's. I don't think I've ever seen that. I don't think I've ever seen a ballot go that far. That is absolutely wild. Christmas money galore here. There's a lot of people trying to save their marriages, I think, in the last Limerick.
I can't believe after all that she's number 46 now. So look, she'll win wherever she goes.
She would have look, if she gets taken out, she would have won though, and that's a moral.
Yeah.
So we can't lose her.
She's all right, going to somewhere else very soon and win. She will win. She will win.
Now, Dec, we've covered the best part of I don't know, 20 odd races there. Do you have obviously Heidi's Frontier? No. Who's your best outside of Betting without Heidi's Frontier.
Hang on, there was a couple on the first day, I think.
Oh, we recorded about 3 hours ago.
Stuff here. Jesus Christ. Look, Tyson, wherever he turns up, looks a good. Oh, it was one night standard, wasn't it? One night standard.
One night standard. Yeah, you were saying go collect on one night standard.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with probably Old Man Dingle in the 2 mile 4 novice handicap hurdle. And even though he's won his last 2, he's trained by Owen Griffin, so I think he'll get a nice price. And I might even go try and scare the shit out of the bookmakers and request a price for the Martin Pipe. There's not a chance he'll be quoted, but he's a horse that I think could actually, mature into a horse of that caliber. I think he's the one that very much like. I do like Park of Kings and in the Pertemps qualifier as well. It'd be interesting to see how he goes. So there's an hour and 5 minutes plus 40 minutes of grade ones before that on tap 81. So almost 2 hours of tap for you guys to digest over Christmas. Happy Christmas and a happy new year to all of our followers. I'm sure we'll be back before the turn of the year, but just in case we're not or stuff gets in the way, just thank you very much for liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, talking to us at the races. Very much appreciated. Also, hope you have a fantastic Christmas. Dec, thank you as well for giving up all your time. Very much appreciate it. Any quick plans before we head off? How's your Christmas looking? Are you all set?
All set, yeah. I've a bit to do today. I'm going to go for a few points, but
have to go for a few points. I love it. So do I actually. I have to go. I'm actually. It's a necessary recording.
No, all set. Looking forward to chilling out and watching that racing. I'll be at Leopardstown on the 28th with yourself.
Yeah. I'm going to try and get up all 4 days if my body lets me, but we'll see. But until then, guys, we very much appreciate it all. Just keep liking, sharing, subscribing. All the very best and happy Christmas. Bye-bye.
Cheers.